The first items I will discuss are the 5 points of performance. The first point of performance is proper exit, check body position, and count. Jumpers hit it. Upon exiting the aircraft, snap into a good tight body position. Keep your eyes open, chin on your chest, elbows tight into your sides, hands on the ends of your reserve parachute with your fingers spread. Bend forward at the waist, keeping your feet and knees together, knees locked to the rear, and count to 6,000. At the end of your 6,000 count, immediately go into your second point of performance. Check canopy and gain canopy control. Reach up to the elbow lock position and secure the front set of risers in each hand, simultaneously conducting a 360-degree check of your canopy. Your slider should be fully extended and begin to slide down the suspension lines. If, during your second point of performance, you find that you have twists, you must compare your rate of descent with your fellow jumpers. If you are falling faster than your fellow jumpers or you cannot compare your rate of descent, immediately activate reserve parachute using the pull drop method. Your third point of performance is keep a sharp lookout at all times and constantly compare your rate of descent. Remember the 3 rules of the air and repeat them after me. Always look before you slip. Always slip in the opposite direction to avoid collision. And the lower jumper always has the right of way. Avoid fellow jumpers all the way to the ground by maintaining a 25-foot separation and continue to compare your rate of descent with fellow jumpers. During your third point of performance, release all appropriate equipment tie downs. This brings you to the fourth point of performance, which is prepare to land. At approximately 200 feet above ground level, look below you to ensure there are no fellow jumpers and lower your equipment and then slip into the wind. Attempt to utilize your slip assist loops or slip assist tabs. If the wind is blowing from your left, reach out with both hands, grasp the left set of risers and pull them deep into your chest. If the wind is blowing from your front, reach out with both hands, grasp the front set of risers, pull them deep into your chest. If the wind is blowing from your right, reach out with both hands, grasp the right set of risers and pull them deep into your chest. If the wind is blowing from your rear, reach out with both hands, grasp the rear set of risers, and pull them deep into your chest. After you have slipped into the wind, you will assume a landing attitude by keeping your feet and knees together, knees slightly bent, elbows tight into your sides, eyes open, and your chin on chest. The fifth point of performance is land. You will make a parachute landing fall by hitting all 5 points of contact. Touch them and repeat after me. Balls of feet, calf, thigh, buttocks, and the pull-up muscle. You will never make a standing landing. Remain on the ground and activate both of your canopy release assemblies using either the hand-to-shoulder method or the hand-assist method. To activate your canopy release assembly using the hand-to-shoulder method, reach out with either hand and grasp the corresponding safety clip. Pull out and down on the safety clip, exposing the cable loop. Insert your thumb from bottom to top through the cable loop. Turn your head in the opposite direction and pull out and down on the cable loop. To activate your canopy release assembly using the hand-assist method, reach out with either hand and grasp the corresponding safety clip. Pull out and down on the safety clip, exposing the cable loop. Insert your thumb from bottom to top through the cable loop. Reinforce that hand with the other. Turn your head in the opposite direction and pull out and down on the cable loop. Place your weapon in operation and remove the parachute harness. The next item I will cover is recovery of equipment. Once you are out of the parachute harness, remove all air items from the equipment rings. Unsnap and unzip the aviator's kit bag and roll it 2/3 of the way down, or unzip and turn right side out the universal parachute recovery bag. Place the parachute harness inside the aviator's kit bag or universal parachute recovery bag with the smooth side facing up. Secure the risers and place them under the parachute harness. For non-tactical recovery of equipment, elongate the suspension lines and canopy, removing all debris. Once you reach the bridle line, secure the drone parachute and deployment sleeve in one hand, and figure 8 roll the canopy and suspension lines all the way to the aviator's kit bag or universal parachute recovery bag. Place the canopy and suspension lines inside the aviator's kit bag or universal parachute recovery bag, leaving the drone parachute, deployment sleeve, and bridle assembly on top of the main canopy. For tactical recovery of equipment, remain on a knee at the aviator's kit bag or universal parachute recovery bag. Begin pulling the suspension lines and canopy toward the aviator's kit bag or universal parachute recovery bag, stuffing them in as you go. Place the drone parachute, deployment sleeve, and bridle assembly on top of the main canopy. Snap, do not zip the aviator's kit bag or universal parachute recovery bag. Secure the reserve parachute to the handles of the aviator's kit bag or place the reserve parachute in the reserve parachute stowage pocket. Secure all of your equipment, conduct a 360-degree check of your area, and move out to your assembly area. The next item I'll cover is activation of the T11 reserve parachute. To activate the T11 reserve parachute, you will use the pull drop method. Jumpers hit it. Maintain a good tight body position. Grasp the ripcord handle with either hand. Throw your head back into the rear, pull out on the ripcord handle, and drop it. Your reserve parachute will activate. Ensure neither hand is in front of the reserve parachute as it deploys. After you activate your reserve parachute, secure the reserve risers. At approximately 200 feet above ground level, slip in the wind and prepare to land. Next item I'll cover is tow jumper procedures. Jumpers hit it. If you become a towed jumper and are being towed by your Universal Stat Line modifier and are unconscious, you will be retrieved back inside the aircraft. If you are conscious, maintain a good tight body position with both hands covering your ripcord handle. An attempt will be made to retrieve you inside the aircraft. As you near the parachute door, do not reach for us. Continue to protect your ripcord handle. If you cannot be retrieved, your Universal Stat Line modifier will be cut. Once you feel yourself falling free from the aircraft, immediately reactivate your reserve parachute using the pull drop method. If you're being towed by an item or equipment, regardless of whether you are conscious or unconscious, that item of equipment will be cut or jog free, and your main canopy will deploy. The next item I will cover is malfunctions. Remember to continue to check your canopy for damage or irregularities and continue to compare your rate of descent throughout your entire jump. If at any time you cannot compare your rate of descent or you are falling faster than your fellow jumpers, immediately activate your reserve parachute using the pull drop method. Next item I will cover is collisions and entanglements. Jumpers hit it, check canopy and gain canopy control. If you see another jumper approaching, immediately look and then slip away. If you cannot avoid the collision, assume a spread eagle body position and attempt to bounce off the jumper's canopy and or suspension lines and immediately look and then slip away. If you pass through the suspension lines and become entangled, snap it to a modified position of attention. With either hand, protect your ripcord handle. With the opposite hand, attempt to weave your way out of the suspension lines the same way you entered. Once clear, immediately look and then slip away. If you become hopelessly entangled, the higher jumper will climb down to a lower jumper using the hand-under-hand method. Once both jumpers are even, they will face each other and grasp each other's main lift web. Both jumpers will discuss which parachute landing fall they will execute. Both jumpers will conduct the same parachute landing fall. Now the jumper will execute a front parachute landing fall. Both jumpers will continue to observe the canopies all the way to the ground. If one canopy collapses, both jumpers will ride the one good canopy all the way to the ground. If both canopies collapse, both jumpers will immediately turn away in order to create a clear path and activate the reserve parachute using the pull drop method. Should you find yourself on top of another jumper's canopy, without rolling, use whatever means necessary to get off the canopy and immediately activate your reserve parachute. Attempt to avoid the four corner vents of the canopy. Should you fall through a corner vent, stay where you are and be prepared to conduct a parachute landing fall. If you have another jumper on top of your canopy, continually compare your rate of descent. If you begin to fall faster than your fellow jumpers, immediately activate your reserve parachute using the pull drop method. Next item I will cover is emergency landings. The first emergency landing I will cover is the tree landing. If you are drifting towards the trees, immediately look and then slip away. If you cannot avoid the trees and have lowered your equipment, look below you to ensure there are no fellow jumpers and jettison your equipment, make a mental note of where it lands. If you have not lowered your equipment, keep it on you to provide extra protection while passing through the trees. Assume a good landing attitude by keeping your feet and knees together, knees slightly bent, eyes open, chin on your chest, with hands in front of your face and your elbows high. Be prepared to execute a proper parachute landing fall if you pass through the trees. If you get hung up in the trees and you feel you cannot safely lower yourself to the ground, stay where you are and wait for assistance. If you decide to climb down, jettison all unneeded equipment. Ensure that you maintain your helmet. Activate the quick release in your waistband. With either hand, apply inward pressure on the ripcord assembly. With the opposite hand, remove the top tuck tab. Maintain steady inward pressure and insert that hand behind the ripcord assembly and apply inward pressure. Grasp the ripcord handle with the first hand, pull it, and drop it. With both hands, control the activation of the reserve parachute to the ground, ensuring that all suspension lines and risers are completely elongated. Disconnect the left connector snap and rotate the reserve parachute to the right. Attach the left connector snap to the triangle link on your right side. Seat yourself well into the saddle. Activate the quick release in your chest strap and completely remove the chest strap from the chest strap friction adapter. Grasp the right lane lift web with either hand below the canopy release assembly, and with the other hand, activate the leg strap ejector snap and climb down the outside of the reserve parachute. Caution must be taken when climbing down the TLM and reserve parachute suspension lines because of the slippery coating that is applied. Remember, when in doubt, stay where you are, wait for assistance. The next emergency landing I will cover is the wire landing. If you are drifting towards the wires, immediately look and then slip away. If you cannot avoid the wires, look below you to ensure there are no fellow jumpers and jettison your equipment, make a mental note of where it lands. Assume a landing attitude by keeping your feet and knees together, exaggerating the bend in your knees, eyes open, chin on your chest with your back arched. Place the palms of your hands high on the inside of the front set of risers with the elbows locked. When you make contact with the wires, begin a vigorous rocking motion in an attempt to pass through the wires. Be prepared to execute a proper parachute landing fall in the event you pass through the wires. If you get hung up in the wires, do not attempt to lower yourself to the ground. Stay where you are, wait for assistance. The next emergency landing I will cover is the water landing. If you are drifting towards a body of water, immediately look and then slip away. If you cannot avoid the water, look below you to assure you there are no fellow jumpers and lower your equipment. Next, jettison your helmet. Make a mental note of where it lands. Activate the quick release in your waistband. Disconnect the left connector snap and rotate the reserve parachute to the right. Seat yourself well into the saddle and activate the quick release in the chest strap, completely remove the chest strap from the chest strap friction adapter. Regain canopy control. Prior to entering the water, assume a landing attitude by keeping your feet and knees together, knees slightly bent, and place your hands on both leg strap ejector snaps. When the balls of your feet make contact with the water, activate both leg strap ejector snaps, arch your back, throw your arms above your head, and slide out of the parachute harness. Be prepared to conduct a proper parachute landing fall if the water is shallow. Swim upwind or upstream away from the canopy. Next item we'll cover is life preservers. If you are drifting towards a body of water, immediately look and then slip away. If you cannot avoid the water and are wearing a life preserver, activate it and then look below you to ensure there are no fellow jumpers and lower your equipment. Be prepared to execute a proper parachute landing fall if the water is shallow. Once in the water, activate both canopy release assemblies. Next item we'll cover is night jumps. When conducting night jumps, be sure you give your canopy an extra look. If you have any reason to believe you are falling faster than fellow jumpers, immediately activate your reserve parachute. Maintain noise discipline and a good interval between fellow jumpers. Be prepared to conduct a parachute landing fall because you will hit the ground approximately 5 to 10 seconds before you think you will. Next item we'll cover is AWODs. When jumping under AWODs conditions, do not lower your equipment until you have passed through the clouds. Recheck your canopy once you pass through the clouds. Do not slip unless you have to avoid a collision. If you have any malfunction or any reason to believe you are falling faster than your fellow jumpers, immediately activate your reserve parachute because you cannot compare your rate of descent with fellow jumpers. The final item I will cover is the parachute landing fall. The final item I will cover is parachute landing falls. We will now move to the parachute landing fall platform and conduct one satisfactory parachute landing fall in each of the 4 directions.